Shalom, shalom. This is Apostle Nabiyah by Yehuda, and I want to just say welcome, welcome, welcome. Get ready for the next portion of your life. This is going to be an awesome webinar on October 23rd. It's on a Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I had made a poll, and I wanted to know pretty much asking the women, what are your gifts, or has someone else defined who you were? What's going on with that? And so some of the women said they didn't know what their gifts looked like. They didn't know what they were. And for those that are actually in church and not being able to identify the gifts and the talents that the Lord gave to them, that could be detrimental, and it's a holdup. And so we're going to be talking about that in the webinar. We're also going to be talking about, what's your posture? What's dragging you down? Is your head up? Is your head down? Are you a zone 4 living in a zone 7, or the other way around? We're going to be talking about that. And no, I am not going to explain that. But it's important that you discover the I can when you're making mental adjustments. And a lot of times we do have to make those mental adjustments because, we've been hitting the walls for so long. We have been, told who we were, told who we were not. And, once we actually begin to accurately look at our lives and look at who we are, we do have to decide, what? I need to make some mental adjustments so that I can begin to move forward. And so I also want to talk about this. I want to talk about and I'm saying this because a lot of women, especially, it could be men as well, but a lot of women are not really confident in who they are. They're not that self-assured. And so, for instance, you get an idea and you look at your neighbor, you'll look at somebody else, you look at someone across the street, you look at someone on your job and figure they can do this. Well, they would know how to do that. Well, if the idea came to you, that means you have the capacity to carry it. Now, you may need to do some research. You may even have to take a class. But the point is this: you have the capacity to carry that thing. And going back to the zones, you have to figure out what zone are you. Now, when I was a real estate agent, I learned about zones. This is a residential zone. This is a commercial zone. I am not talking about those kinds of zones. And then there are, if you Google, you may see zones on, what's your target zone, in your weight loss and your heart rate and all. We're not talking about that either. That's a totally different thing. This type of zone, this is what the Lord gave me. Somebody say cliffhanger. Yes, that's right. I'm going to leave it out there just like that. But these zones are real and they are important. And you have to identify who you are and what your environment is. And are you able to sustain in that place? So, again, what's your posture? What is your thought life like? What voices have you been listening to? When are you going to get to the point where you can say, you know what? So what? So what? My credit was bad. So what? I was in a bad relationship. So what? I tried it before and it didn't work. So what? I'm worth it. I am worth it. I am worth the press. I am worth the pursue. I am worth it. And so you have to just get to that point where you can just say that. And do you know how freeing that is? Do you know how light you're going to feel once you're able to take that and put it over there? And then you will begin to have the clarity of thought, the clarity of speech, where you're able to articulate what you want, what you need, what you require. What is it going to take for me to escape velocity? What is it going to take for me to get to that place that I've been seeing in the distance? What is my strategy for getting over there. So, October 23rd, 2017. October 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be doing a webinar, and I want to invite you. I'm going to be talking about some of these things, some of these struggles, some of those things that are top of mind for you. I'm not just going to talk about the problem, but I am going to introduce you to the remedy. Because we can talk about a lot about what's wrong, that whole what's going on. We need to get to a remedy because people are looking for answers. And so October 23rd, I invite you to gather. We're doing a webinar, and the answers will come. You've waited long enough. And so I just want to encourage you to be the authentic you, because she's waiting, and the world is waiting. The world is waiting. So sowing into your own field, investing in you, it's more than a slogan. It is a lifestyle. It is a transformation. It is a life change. And the trajectory of your life, wow. Just think about that. Just say to yourself, the trajectory of my life. You're worth it. So whatever the problems were previously, so what? So what are you going to sow in this season that you did not sow last season? And the question is, what are you really waiting on? We're going to deal with that. I'll see you at the webinar. Shalom, shalom.